Hi Home Talkers. We're here for another live DIY demo. I'm Sharon and I blog over at irestorestuff.com. So I'll be showing you today, we're going to be using a really easy technique to transfer graphics onto wood. So we'll be transferring onto a sign today. So we're making a family name sign onto a piece of wood that looks like this. So to get to this stage, I thought I'd show you first of all how we get to this driftwood looking look from a basic piece of wood that you get from your hardware store. But first of all, please type in where are you tuning in from, because I'd love to know. We have people jumping in from all over the world. I'm from Australia, if you haven't noticed the accent, so we're coming all the way from down under. Feel like Oprah, the Oprah show. And I've got my good friend Shireen here helping me today with your comments and things, so she's going to be yelling out some things and where you're coming from. And we've got Libby in the studio today, who is my workshop lady who's come to do a one-on-one workshop with me today. And the workshop is actually transferring graphics onto furniture. So she's actually sitting in on our Hometalk live demo today to learn the first one of those techniques, which is transferring graphics using carbon paper or graphite paper. So where are they from, Shireen? We've got people coming in from where?
We have got people from Canada.
Canada.
Illinois.
Australians are there. Hey, Aussies, Aussie. UK. Hi, UK people. And I noticed last time I was on Hometalk Live that afterwards there was a lot of other countries that joined in because they're probably asleep right now unless they've gotten up at like 2 or 3 in the morning. So some countries, I understand, won't be joining in until after the live is over. And you can always remember to hit the subscribe button when this demo is finished so that you don't miss out on next Facebook Lives, because they pop up in your news feed and say Home Talk's live right now, and that's all very exciting because then you can jump on wherever you're at, on your phone or your mobile device or your laptop. So I'm so glad you could join me today. Again, I'm Sharon and I blog at irestorestuff.com, and today we're going to make a sign. So let's get started, shall we? Any other, oh look, Kentucky, Long Island, New York, Texas, there's always someone from Texas, yay. Hickory, Mississippi, Ennis, Texas. I can see the names scrolling up on the screen over there. That is awesome. So we'll get started with our basic piece of wood. Now the first thing to make your piece of wood look rustic, you may know this trick already, but you can just very easily get a hammer, some chain, all sorts of anything. I used a little piece of wire at this stage. And you just get your hammer and whack it all over the board. I even dinged my edges, my corners, so they weren't so sharp. They, could look a little bit more like they've been worn over time. They didn't look like they were just sawn off. So there's our piece of wood. Oh, and I forgot to mention, we do have a giveaway later on in the program, so stay tuned for that. And I'm very excited to tell you, and I will tell you a little bit more about this giveaway later on, but this is going to be the giveaway. These unique Australian canning labels. So stay tuned for that, because we will be asking a question and the giveaway will have to do with that question. So listen carefully. So these are all Australian canning labels, and they happen to come from my family history. So I'll tell you a little bit about that later on. So back to our board, plain board, and we want to make it weathered like this. So we get our black paint, and so I'm just using this coal black by Fusion mineral paint, and we're going to just paint all over our dinged up board. So it was looking brand new, now it's going to look really rustic. And for the black, see, that gives us that depth underneath the wood. So this is just one method of making your wood rustic. There are so many different ways using different techniques. And for this method, I'm going to make sure that I get in those holes where I've dinged it up. And because this is the base layer, you really don't have to be too particular about which way your brush strokes are going. And as you can see, I'm kind of pushing it into those hammer holes because I don't want bright white raw, the pine wood coming through and showing through on those places. And for this, you can even water the paint down a little bit. It really wouldn't matter. I usually use, on my brush, I usually like to dampen the brush before I paint with it.
Sharon, are you
Yes.
using a particular kind of paint?
I'm using fusion mineral paint, which is what I have on hand, and it's a colour called coal black, which, as you can see, it's a really black. But you can use any colour for your base. To make it rustic looking, you could use like a charcoal dark grey colour, or anything really that's dark. Even some of the dark blues and greens would look really different under there. Perhaps the green would even look like moss or something, So make sure we get all of those edges. And if you have any questions, you know that you can always pop them in the comments section below. Oops. And Shireen will help me read them out and we can answer them as best we can. So there's our black underneath, which is going to form the base of our rustic sign. This is a great idea for a workshop too, if you teach painting workshops. Imagine a sign like this to do at a workshop, and people can take it home and hang it on their wall, or they could give it as a gift. So once we've got our black all finished, I'm just going to pop that over here to dry. And here's one I've prepared earlier. So once we've done our black, my water. Lots of questions.
Is mineral paint like chalk paint?
No, it's a little bit different. It's a furniture paint though, so I do have on my blog, if you go to my blog, you can actually have a look at an article that I've written up there. If you just type in the search bar, what's the difference? I've got an article there about what's the difference between chalk paint, milk paint and fusion mineral paint. So there's all sorts of different paints, furniture paints out there on the market today, and they're awesome. Lovely matte finish. So, oh no, I haven't, I need my muscles. Okay, this is the part where, no, it's all right. Your trusty little grip thing helps out. So for this one, I'm just using a white colour because what we're going to do is do our name in black. And so we want it to stand out. So we're going to make this, what did I call it? Weathered driftwood kind of a look. So you can see the dark shadows in there. So to do that, I'm going to use my trusty newspaper because I want to use a fairly dry brush. So we're just pulling out the Cars Guide from our Australian newspaper. Actually, this could probably be very interesting because the price of cars is probably very different all over Australia, all over the world. What have we got? Let's just look at the price of cars for a second, people, just for fun. I'm sure we'll find something. A Mitsubishi truck here in Australia, you can get a GLX manual for $29,990. There you go. So we'll just paint over that. There we go. Okay, so what we're going to do is dip just the tips of our brush into the pot of paint, wipe off the excess from the edges, and I'm going to just make sure that I get a fair bit off the brush so that it's fairly dry. This is called dry brushing. Then, if you want to come down on here, look how pretty that looks. So we just keep dipping in like this. And look at that streaky look there. So we keep dipping in and going until we're happy with our results of our dry brushing. Don't forget to tell me where you're tuning in from if you've only just tuned in.
Another question, Sharon. What kind of brushes are you using?
I'm using a klingon brush, which is my favourite at the moment. They just go on really smoothly. I love how this is turning out. Driftwood look, here we come. So you can see even on the edges I'm going for that driftwood look. Okay, are we ready for the giveaway question? I did mention that we're going to have a giveaway. And we'll give it away. We're giving away these antique canning labels, a set of all 4 of them. And they are unique Australian canning labels. And the giveaway question is, whoops, hang on, I'll just show you this first because this is really exciting. I'm going to just add a little bit more paint. You can see how I'm brushing like this. What I want to do is get this look so that the white is mostly in the middle. So I just keep going over that and I'm wiping off, and I know I'm not doing the dry brush wiping off on the newspaper for this stage because I want to get a fair bit more white in the centre so we can do our black lettering on it. But you can see these edges are, the edges are looking really nice and driftwoody because they're black. It's almost like it's a burnt look, isn't it? So you can just keep going until you're happy with you might want more black than that, you might want more white, just depending how much you want showing through. So there we go. Look at that. There you've got a nice driftwood piece, and you can see those bits where the wood has been dinged up by the hammer and so on. All right, moving right along. The giveaway question is, what would you make your sign say? So mine is going to be a family name sign. We're going to make it look a bit like this. That's the Hankins family, established 1992, which was our wedding date. High fives, honey. Oh, isn't that sweet? How many years have we been married now? Whatever that is, 1992. It's coming up in November and we'll celebrate. We'll have a good time. So it's 20-something. Once you get past 20, it's all good, right? Okay, so this is our dry piece here that we're going to work on. So the giveaway question is, remember, so Sharine's going to be looking at these because I'm flat out here making my little sign work. But what would you make your sign say? Oh, wow, I can see some of the answers coming up there now. Great ideas, people. All right, so for this next part, we're making the actual words go on the sign. And so, I'm making a surprise. But it's not going to be a surprise to that person if they're watching the video. So, it happens to be for my lovely mother and father-in-law who were married in 1959. Gosh, I hope we got that right. Too late now. Hey, it's just paint if you make a mistake. And I have made so many of these for Christmas gifts and things like that. So I've just printed the name out, and I've also printed out the family in different fonts. But you just print it out on regular paper, it doesn't matter, laser, inkjet, because we're not going to be using the ink from it. And then you just cut your names in the sections. And then we've got to put it all nicely on the board with straight cutting, of course. No, it doesn't matter. So we're just sort of marking it out on the board where you think it might be. I'm doing this for your benefit so you can kind of see I'm doing it upside down. I'm surely fine. Yeah, we've got that totally wrong. Hang on. This way. So because I'm doing it upside down, I will make sure. You'll tell me, won't you, if I'm doing it wrong. So what we're going to be using today is carbon paper, or you might call it graphite paper in America. And I just picked that up from our local Office Works stationery supply shop. So once we've got our thing lined up, you can be fussy and use a ruler. I tend to just eyeball it out, and because, see, we've got the word family is a little bit longer than the, so, but I generally try to make the last name or the surname sit in the centre of the sign, but a little bit towards the top, and then the established sign just in the centre of that. And then I just kind of figure out my the. I might put that one a little bit high and that one a little bit lower. And so what we have, where are we saying, what are we saying for our signs there? The competition is a giveaway, to give away these 4 unique canning labels. And I've asked the question, what would you put on your sign? So what are we getting answers for there, Charlene?
So many different ideas. Smiles are free.
Smiles are free. I love it. Oh, great. Inspirational people.
Another one. Welcome to the barn house.
Oh,
A fun place to go.
that I want to go to their house, yeah. So we're taking note of all of these and we're going to pick a winner. The other thing I'll mention is we just tape the thing, painter's tape. Don't use any other kind of tape because it just might not, it might peel your paint off. So I'm just going to take a sit down for this bit because I think I'll have a steadier hand if I'm sitting down. So for this part, you can either, what we're doing is we're just imprinting the name onto the sign. So to do that, I'm going to use my ruler just to get it a little bit straight. Actually, I won't use the ruler for this part. The next part I will. And I'm just kind of doing little parts where the corners all join up for these big letters because you don't need to go all the way around. But for the smaller words, I usually trace all the way around there. So we're just grabbing these corner parts and we're pressing in so that underneath the carbon is imprinting onto the wood, the paint, and showing you where you need to fill in your letters. Okay, what else have we got? Signs, sign-wise, what are we making our signs say, people?
We've got some Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. This would be a great idea for Christmas signs. Yes, you can do that. What else?
Another great one. Happy fall, y'all.
Happy fall, y'all. That was a great American accent, Shireen. Happy fall, y'all. Do I sound southern? I'm doing my best practicing my American accent. We are coming to visit America at Christmas time and I'm so excited to see y'all. We have family. My husband's from America. He's from a little town called Emmett in Idaho. So if there's anyone from Idaho or Boise, Idaho, if you know Emmett, that's where my husband was born. A little tiny farm area. Well, it was back then. Maybe it's grown big now. What other sign ideas have we got? Keep them coming because we're going to pick a winner for our giveaway.
Faith and family.
Faith and family. Lovely.
Quite a few people doing similar to what you're doing, putting their surname on.
Oh, yep.
Love never fails.
Never. That's a great quote.
One that I like is welcome friends.
Yeah, that'd be a great idea. Welcome friends at the front of your entryway. Great idea. Keep them coming.
Home is where our story begins.
I love that. Home is where our story begins. You see so many great inspirational quotes these days and any number of them could be made into one of these signs. So if you're following along, I'm madly going here to get this beautiful name imprinted using the carbon and we've got to go around the circle. There we go. Feeling a little nervous. You're all watching me here and I'm getting a bit shaky. Okay. So for the S, I can't do that and just go on the corner, so I've got to go right around the whole entire S. Oop. Oh, that's what I was going to say before. If you do make a mistake, I did do a sign for a custom order. It's one of my most requested custom orders, is these family name signs, because they make great wedding presents, Christmas gifts. Anyway, so someone had asked for this to be done for their a family member for Christmas, and they had gotten the wrong wedding date. Anyway, but I said, it's okay. So I sanded back that little part. Let me just show you here. when I lift up, hopefully I've gotten all of those bits on. So you can sort of see where I've only done the corners of places, and that's where I'll go on afterwards and do the ruler. All right, so now I'm getting my established on. And if you're really good, you don't have to tape it down. Let's just see how I go not taping it down. What I'll do is like this, so I can see where I am in the centre. Excuse me, I'll just tissue. Okay, so you can use a pencil or a pen, because all you're doing is using the tip of it to go over the edges of your letters. You don't have to fill them in at all. You can also do this method with pictures and images if it's got some detail that you'd like to add in there. Oop. Going as close as I can to scoot around those edges of the S. Yeah, you can use it during pictures. Let me tell you about my grandfather's canning labels. We found these when my granddad passed away. My sister found these canning labels in his stash of goodies. And he was a farmer and used to, his dad and his dad's dad were farmers right here in Brisbane in a place called Crib Island, which is now no longer exists, so they've actually done away with the whole suburb, which is really sad. But anyway, progress, that's what it is. And it's now the Brisbane International Airport, so we'll be flying out of there when we come to America. But that whole land there used to be my grandfather's pineapple farm. So a couple of these are pineapple labels, and you can see, I'll show you the back here, packed at, and it's got exactly where the pineapple farm is and the factory. So they had a little cannery right here in Brisbane, and these came from that cannery. So when my sister found these labels, we thought these are just too good to just have there sitting there. So she's a bit of a graphic designer type person, and so she scanned them in at totally high quality, and we now have a little family heirloom that we're passing on to other people. And you can get those in a downloadable format on my website, or you can buy the printed version. And because I didn't want to, because it's a family thing, and I didn't want to go, hey, I'm just making money off my family. So I asked my dad, who's the eldest in his family, I asked him, what's your favourite charity that I could donate, the sales that I get from these little labels? And so my mum and dad, for years and years, have gone and travelled to the Solomon Islands and taken teams over there. They've done it for the past 10 or more years. Taken teams of people over there to help on missions trips. And so he said, I'd love for any of that to just go to their work that they do over there. So that's what I do with them. But they're such a fun idea. You can give me some more ideas if you like, but you can use these labels for plants. These plants I just got from IKEA, and you can use them for holding your paintbrushes, your pens, all sorts of things. So some lucky winner is going to get a set of 4 of those, and all you have to do when you get the set is grab an old tin can that's a large size and wrap it around, glue the end, and you're done. Okay, so we've nearly got our sign happening here. I'm just going to put my the. So when I do this little handwriting one, I'm just holding it very still and going all around, all around the edges. Have we got any other ideas of people? And the giveaway question, if you've just tuned in, the giveaway question is, what words or what would you put on your sign if you were making a sign in this method using graphite and carbon paper? Have we got any more there, Shireen? Oh, I'm a bit of a coffee girl myself. Coffee and love lives here. Yes. Okay, Thanksgiving coming up in America, so there's probably a great idea. Some Thanksgiving ones. All dogs welcome.
I think that would be my daughter's house.
That's a pet lover person. Awesome.
Follow your heart.
Beautiful.
And another one I really like, love spoken here.
Love spoken here. That's great.
There was a question too, Sharon.
Yes, a question. Somebody has a question. That's great. If anyone else has questions, pop them in the comments.
Are there other ways to put the lettering on your sign? Could
Yeah.
you use stencils or something?
Yes, there are certainly lots of other ways you can do this, and there are even stencil making machines that you can make your own stencils with. In fact, I'm going to be, on my next few Hometalk Live demos, we are going to be concentrating on this exact thing, and that is transferring graphics onto wood, because for this, you don't actually just have to stop at making signs. You can put these ideas onto your furniture. And so, yes, there are lots of other ways of doing it. So some of the ways I'm going to be talking about are using, I just got to see where I was up to, because there we go. One of the other methods, which is one of my favourite ways of transferring graphics, is using a transfer gel medium. So, you know, like Mod Podge or Fusion's transfer gel, or one of those other kind of gels. And that method is probably one of my most asked about. So I get so many questions on using that method. Just let me move this over. Because there are, you know, even though I've done tutorials on it and we've done workshops on it, it's best with the hands-on workshops, because you really get a better idea. There's just so many questions, because there are quite a few little variables when you're transferring graphics with a gel. So that's a real fun way, though, because you can do all sorts of things like, photos, images, and words and text and things like that. So that's one of the ways we'll be doing, and we'll also be we'll be looking at stenciling as well, and some of the tips and tricks for actual stenciling, because, you know, stenciling sounds easy, looks pretty easy. There we go, we've got all of our sign written on. But there can be some tips and tricks to not getting that bleed through under your stencils. So we'll be looking at that. All right, so our next part is using what I like to refer to as my special Sharpie tool. No, it's just, I've got a bunch of Sharpies here in our house. We always have Sharpies around. My husband's a audio video guy, and they use Sharpies for just about everything. So this is not an advertisement for Sharpie, but it's just what I have. And I've got several just in case one didn't work. So all we're going to do, this is really therapeutic, guys. You know, if you needed just to have some time out and do a craft like this, put on some music. You know, that's what we need to be putting on right now, some beautiful music. And you're following around the letters. You can be thinking about your family as you're making your family name sign. There we go. So all we're doing with the Sharpie is then filling in those gaps where we see this one's kind of running out already. Sometimes it gets a bit stuck on the paint, and there we go. And the other way I'll show you after we've done this, little the word. Let's try again. Ah, that's a better one. I like it when you find a really good one. Okay, so you can fill in using paint, and I'll show you that in this one, I think, once we get those edges done. I just like to use the Sharpie for the fine parts, and I think, see, this is a basic kind of width of a Sharpie, but you can get really fine tip ones as well, so they're good for really any fine lettering that you might want to use. So, how are we going with those giveaway questions, Shireen?
Here's another really lovely one. Enter as strangers, leave as friends.
Enter as strangers, leave as friends. What a nice idea.
It'd be really nice in the kitchen or the front.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
Another common one is love never fails.
Yep, love never fails.
Having some simple words like hope,
Yep,
breathe,
wow.
Faith,
Yep.
family, something sort of trying to put us in the word.
Yes. All right, here's where I use my ruler just to get those lines straight because I don't trust my shaky hand right now. We can go along. There we go. So we use the Sharpie just to fill in all the outlines. And then you can use a paintbrush to go on the inside of those lines. So I'll just show you with this H for example. So we will be picking a winner for the giveaway very soon. And even if you live all the way over the other side of the world from me, I will post you 4 of these antique canning labels. Okay, so I'll just show you with the paint and paintbrush. So you can use a black paint. Excuse my nose.
I've got a question.
Yes, Libby has a question. Yes.
So Sharpies come in all different colours.
Yes.
Could you use, does the effect work as well?
Yes. Libby has a great question. So Sharpie does come in a lot of different colours and you could do that exact same effect using a different colour. So that's very true. You can do that. Any colour you like. You can even fill it in with a different colour paint. So I'm just going to tip my brush. Whoops. And then we can fill in the paint. Oh, there we go. So it might take a little while to get all your letters done. And it takes a bit of a steady hand, but I find it quite relaxing. Quite relaxing, I say, but I'm really kind of nervous in front of how many thousands of people are watching Hometalk Live right now. But you get the idea. I want to turn the board around, and you can, you know, just turn it around to whoever you want. So if your paint wasn't thick enough, or if it wasn't applied thick enough, I might try a different brush. Then you can always go back over it in a second coat. I don't know if this one's wide enough. Oh, look at that. Am I shaking? I feel like I'm shaking. Here we go. All right, so you get that general idea of how we can fill in with black paint. But isn't that just such an easy method? Carbon paper to make a beautiful family name sign. I'll just go over this with this one. So you can try the Sharpie, you can try that way. Let's just, have you found a winner, Shireen? What do you think? Those ideas were coming fast and furious, and there were such really nice ones, beautiful inspirational signs. Oh look, I can see one there for a laundry, wash, dry, fold, repeat.
I did like that one.
That was very cool.
One, but I really do think the lovely one that said enter as strangers, leave as friends.
Beautiful. That is our winner for today of these unique canning labels, all the way from Australia. The person who said, and we'll announce their name in just a second, it's Patty Allen. So Patty Allen, congratulations, you're the winner of our unique Australian canning labels that you can also, if you didn't win, you can still buy them over on my website at irestorestuff.com. But her sign idea was enter as strangers, leave as friends. Isn't that beautiful? I love it. That is so lovely. I am going to just show you what the end thing will look like. So if you missed the first part of our live demo, we actually went all the way from showing you how to get this driftwood look in the background here and the different stages that you need to do to paint that. So if you missed it, please rewind or just, refresh. Go hit the play button and go right back to the beginning. We'll show you how to make this lovely driftwood look. And we went right through that and showing you how to use just simple carbon paper, a piece of carbon paper and printed letters. And it doesn't, like I said, it doesn't have to just be letters. It can be pictures, images. You can, have a favourite image or logo. Hey, you might have a business and try this with your business logo. That's one way, just one way of transferring graphics onto wood. So making signs, you can put them on your furniture, but that's just one of the ways. And I'll be showing you in future Hometalk Live demos how you can transfer graphics using other methods. So some of the methods will be using a transfer type of gel like Mod Podge or one of those mediums. Also stenciling, we'll be looking at stenciling and how there are still some tricks, because some people have said to me, I've tried stenciling and I keep getting it bleeding all underneath the stencil. So if you don't want that to happen, I can show you some little tips and tricks on that. And another method of transferring graphics is using freezer paper. So if you haven't tried that one, that's another one to look forward to. But here's the finished look, and this is one we did for our family, and that's hanging now. We're hanging it on our entryway wall. It's like a photo gallery, so we've got different family photos. So that's a great idea for your family. Great Christmas gift. What other ideas? You could give it as a wedding gift.
The same for Thanksgiving is another
Yep.
idea.
Yeah. So, yeah, and are people, I don't know, because in Australia, you know, we don't have Thanksgiving because we didn't have pilgrims come and, you know, land in the Mayflower or whatever. Anyway, so do people buy gifts at Thanksgiving? Let us know. Do they do that kind of thing? There you go, if they do. Yeah, congratulations, Patty Allen, who's our winner for our Hometalk giveaway, and I'll be sending these all the way from Australia, unique canning labels, and you can read about the story also on my blog of these little labels that were from my great-great-grandfather, James Jackson, who owned a cannery and a pineapple farm right here in Brisbane. And look at this. I don't know if you caught that. I'm sure you did. But fresh green vegetables, cabbage, really doesn't sit well with my appetite. But can you imagine that we actually did this? I don't know, maybe there's still canned cabbage out there. I have no idea. But, you know, packed by J. Jackson at Bramble Farm, Nudgee, Brisbane, my great-great-great-grandpa. So that's exciting. Thank you, Patty, for that awesome sign idea, which was enter as strangers, leave as friends. I love it. Thank you so much. That's awesome. Another idea I wanted to mention is that one lady who came and wanted a custom sign from me, she had a blended family. And so instead of, I don't know, they had something different for established there, but they had their name, family, and then say blended or something like that, something lovely. And she came up with this really great idea for their blended family. So wedding gifts, you know, awesome idea. So again, my blog is i-restorestuff.com, and you can find me over there. And if you have, just don't forget, I've got my little reminder here, be sure to hit the subscribe button when this video finishes. You should see a little subscribe button so that you can watch the future broadcasts of Hometalk Live, because tomorrow at 1 p.m. EST, Eastern Standard Time, 1 p.m, we're showing how to turn an old book into a clock. Really? An old book into a clock. That's not me, that's someone else who's going to be taking over the Hometalk Facebook page tomorrow, 1 p.m. EST. That sounds crazy talented. So you guys, you Hometalkers are so wonderfully talented. That's all for me today. Thanks for tuning in to see how we could make this family name sign. See you all later.